Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Student World Talks. My name is Lean, and today I will be the host for this episode. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today, for being here with us in this very special episode. I am really excited for today. We have a unique topic and something great that you guys will benefit from, I am sure. But before introducing what today's topic is all about, I would like to ask you guys, where are you watching us from? So if you can please just comment your countries that you guys are watching us from so I can say hello to you. And just because I'm curious, I am personally in Canada right now, and I came here to study abroad. I was just like you guys looking for destinations and trying to find the best place for me to accomplish this goal. So I can already see here some countries that you guys are commenting. Thank you so much for answering.
يلا غني.
Hello, hello, Andre from Ecuador. Hello, Daniel, and hello, Aridia from Nigeria. We have a lot of people from Nigeria. Thank you guys for sharing. Hello, Afroj from Bangladesh. Hello, Savita from Serbia. And we also have Narjis from Afghanistan. Hello, Ahmed from Egypt. Um, Thank you guys for sharing, and thank you for being here. And just like how you commented your countries here and you're really engaging with me and telling me who more about you, I want you to keep doing that throughout the live by asking your questions and telling me anything that you guys want to know about studying abroad. Maybe even share your study abroad plans. Tell us what you need to know and why are you here today? Because I know that all of you share one thing, which is your love and you really like your dream of studying abroad. So I would be more than happy to know more about your study abroad plans. So I just want to remind you also to like this episode if you're enjoying, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel just so you can get notified of every video that we post or upload. So it's finally the time to tell you guys what today's live will be about. So today you will be getting all the information that you need about studying abroad directly from students. They studied in Spain, Germany, and Hong Kong and are ready to share with you all the details so you can finally plan your own trip as well. So, whatever you are curious about, this is exactly the time and place to ask. So, let's finally get the students here on stage to ask them the questions and know more about their own journey. So, we have Rama, Emra, and Yara. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here and for being here to help the students to accomplish their dreams of studying abroad as well. So I want to first start by giving you guys the opportunity to introduce yourselves, just say your names and where you're originally from, where you studied, and anything that you want to share. So we can start with you, Yara.
Okay, hi guys. My name is Yara. I'm 21 years old. I was born in Syria. I have lived my whole life in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. And well, I've always dreamt of studying abroad, and here I am now graduating from physiotherapy in Spain, Oviedo.
That's great.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Emra, you can go if you want. Next.
Hi everyone, my name is Emra and I'm currently in Hong Kong and I'm 23 years old. I did my study abroad here in Hong Kong and I graduated last winter and I decided to stay longer here and right now I'm working as a consultant. Also, thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's great to know, guys. And Rama, what about you?
Hi, my name is Rama Hani. I'm 21 years old. I study at the Faculty of Engineering in German University in Cairo, and I went for a semester abroad in Berlin. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's great. So, guys, as you heard, we have Yara, who studied in Spain or is still studying in Spain, and Emra, who's in Hong Kong, and Rama, who was in Germany, and they will tell you all about those three amazing destinations. So please keep your questions coming and ask anything that you need to know. So the first question is for you, Emra. Why did you choose to study in Hong Kong?
Well, actually, I always wanted to study abroad and get out of my comfort zone, but I didn't even think about studying abroad in Asia. I actually wanted to go somewhere in Europe. And then I was talking one day with a friend, who is in the same university as mine, but in a different faculty. And we, in the whole, we only could go to 3 universities together, and Hong Kong was one of them. So that's why I came to Hong Kong. So I wrote Hong Kong, and I said I wanted to come over here. At the end, my friends couldn't come, so that's how I ended up here.
Yeah, that's great. It's a really great experience to be in Asia, even though you wanted Europe, but Hong Kong is still a great destination. So that's great. We're
Definitely.
excited. Yeah, so we're excited to know more about that. And what about you, Yara? Out of all the countries in Europe, why did you choose Spain?
Well, I have always been in love with Spain. It's one of my favorite countries here in Europe. I have been here too many summers. I'm in love with the culture, with the language, with their accent, with the food, with everything, the way of living. So I always knew it was Spain, and I was preparing for it like since my last year of high school. So yeah, I was very excited to come here. So yeah.
That's great. It's good to know that this was your dream and you were able to accomplish that. So, guys, Yara and all of them are here to give you tips on how you too can do that. And Rama, why did you choose to do a semester abroad in Germany?
Okay, so basically, my dream was to study in Germany, but this was too scary for me to stay for like 5 years alone without my family in a foreign country. So I chose to go to the German University in Cairo, and then by surprise, they just held a program of a semester abroad in Germany. So I had to seize this opportunity and go there because I think Germany has a very high level of education, and the culture there is awesome. History there is awesome. So this was the reason I wanted to go there.
Yeah, that's great. Like, as you said, even though it is scary at the beginning, but once you're there, I'm sure you had a great time. So, guys, I have a question for the students who are watching us. Which country would you choose out of all the three of these, Germany, Spain, or Hong Kong? So, please tell us in the comments to see which country are you mostly curious about. Now, the next question I would like to ask is for you, Amra. So, as we know, Hong Kong is a great destination, but many of the students are also worried about the language because they speak Chinese there. So, how did you deal with that? Did you learn the language?
No, I didn't really learn. Like in Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese, which is different than what they speak in because there they speak Mandarin. But as Hong Kong was an old colony of England, of course, so that's why also a lot of people speak English over here, especially in the city center. You can find everywhere people talking English, so there isn't really quite a language. Maybe outside the city center, you can find people who doesn't speak English, but it's like it's not really a real issue, the language barrier. I didn't really learn Mandarin. I had one course during my exchange, but like, you just always use English, and the people here can all everyone speaks English. So the language is like the communication is pretty well over here.
That's great. So they speak English, but if you also want to learn the language, you can do that. And someone in the comments is also saying that Mandarin is awesome. So I agree, it is a really nice and very interesting language to learn. And they're also answering in the comments. They're saying Germany, Spain, Hong Kong. They're choosing all the countries. So I think at this point there isn't an obvious winner. But Yara, what about you? So you mentioned that your first language is Arabic. So
Is Arabic, yeah.
yeah, so when you went to Spain, how did you deal with that language barrier there?
Well, for me, it was kind of obligatory to learn the Spanish because my faculty, where I wanted to study the physiotherapy, the courses were all in Spanish. So, what I did was I prepared myself with online classes before coming to Spain. And then when I came there, I even asked for more classes. I went to different academies, and there were also a very interesting thing. For example, they have a lot of organization. One of them is the Red Cross. They usually teach Spanish for free. The language, they teach it for free. You can also they have malleable time, so you can go during the evening or in the morning to have like balance between your university classes and the language learning classes. So basically that was it. I had to, and as well speaking with the people, like speaking Spanish with the Spanish people. They are really helpful. They teach you, and they help you a lot with it as well.
Yeah, that's great. Practicing with the locals is definitely
Exactly.
a great way to learn the language. And Rama, if students can't speak German, would it still be easy for them to study in Germany?
Definitely, yes. Many universities in Germany are speaking English. I myself, I didn't learn German. I only took one course, which made me reach A2 level, which is not enough at all to speak German fluently. Just know the basics. Uh, my main language while I was there was English. And because there are many international students, and actually Berlin is all people around you are international, so basically, everyone just speaks English, and it's really, really easy to communicate with everyone there.
That's awesome. That's really very reassuring for the students to know that. So, guys, a question for you. Please comment. Tell us how many languages do you speak and what are they? Just because I'm curious to know, because we were speaking about languages now. So, I'm curious to know how many languages do you guys speak. Um, so, the next question is for you, Amra. So, what were you mostly worried about when you were thinking about studying abroad?
The mostly what I wrote about was mainly to experience the culture shock and to be homesick, and that I really, really wanted to go back super badly. Because when you arrive at Hong Kong, you can't go back, and if you go back, you can't come again to Hong Kong because then you need to do that 21 days of quarantine again. That was what I wanted, but I didn't experience that. I wasn't homesick at all, and like I liked every minute that I was there in Hong Kong. I think the only shock I had was learning how to eat with the chopsticks, but I was pretty handy with that in a short time. So besides that, um, I wasn't homesick at all or whatever. So I really liked my time over here.
That's great. Yeah. And do you have any tips for the students on how not to experience that homesickness or culture shock? Did you do something in
Um,
specific?
No, actually, not something in specific. It was mainly, we just hang out with the other international students. We did a lot of activities. We explored a lot of Hong Kong and just enjoying all the moments that you have. And I think also like appreciated that you have this opportunity. Um, I think if you're doing that, then everything will be all right.
That's great. I really agree. Like you said, appreciating the opportunity that really reminds you why were you there in the first place.
Mhm.
That will make you positive throughout the experience. And Yara, what about you? Were you nervous when you were thinking about leaving your friends and family back home? How did you deal with that homesickness if you experienced that?
Well, yes, of course. At first, I was nervous, but then when I came here, I found really good people here that were trying to help me. They were interested to find someone new, and coming from Saudi Arabia, especially, the culture shock at first was kind of difficult. But people there were very warm, were very welcoming, made me feel like home. So it was kind of helpful. And at first, when you first come to a new country, you always want to explore and do stuff. So we were always out all the time exploring stuff here in Oviedo, the villages around Oviedo. So you didn't basically have time at first to feel homesick. But then when I started feeling this homesickness, what I would do is usually FaceTime a lot with friends, families, all the time. Like whenever I feel depressed or anything, FaceTime, and plan for travel plans for vacations to when I can go and meet my family again.
That's
So
great.
that's basically it.
Yeah, that's a very good tip to always make sure that the connection is there even though that you are abroad. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Drama, you mentioned that at the beginning you thought that it was scary to go to Germany. So when you went there, how were you able to overcome that anxiety, and how what made you really enjoy your time there and not be nervous?
Okay, so basically, the thing that made me nervous most is being 100% dependent on myself, not on my family. There's no one to help me out there. But when I actually landed in Berlin, the moment I landed in Berlin, I felt like everything is easy. All the people around you are helping you. Um, no one's looking at you like you're a foreigner or something. Everyone's very welcoming. I also used to do a lot of stuff that actually make me happy. I used to FaceTime my family, like Yara said, a lot. to not feel homesick. I used to go out, hang out with my friends, explore the city as much as possible. I used to travel a lot inside of Germany to explore Germany itself as well. So it was a really fun experience, not a scary one at all.
Awesome. Yeah, those are really great tips and advice for the students. So thank you so much, guys, for sharing. And a lot of them are also sharing with us what languages they speak. So that's really interesting to know that many of you are speak more than one language. That's very interesting. And so the next question would be for you, Emra. How were you able to meet new people and make friends abroad? Did you face any challenges when you were doing so?
Um, not really. Before the abroad, we had a information session of the university. So and doing that, and it was online. So doing that information session, we created a group chat on WhatsApp with all of the exchange students. We are going to the university, and we also added each other on yeah, or mainly on Instagram. So then you also have a picture of like who's coming and how many people from where are coming. And then when you're at the university, then you see them in real person. So then it becoming like having becoming friends is super easy. And also everyone is in the same situation. So everyone from far away to the other side of the world to Hong Kong, and then on his own. So everyone wants to socialize, and so that's why I didn't had any problems with having friends. So that's also the how we made friends over
Yeah, that sounds fun. You're right. Like everyone is going abroad with with the intention of meeting people and making friends, and that makes it easier. Um,
indeed.
yeah, and what about you, Yara? Like, would you say you're more of an extrovert or an introvert? And how did that affect with you making friends abroad?
Where in my case, I'm part of an introvert myself, so I thought it was gonna be so difficult for me to make friends and meet new people, but actually it wasn't that hard, especially here in Spain. As I said before, people here are so welcoming, so warm, so understanding, so familiar, and there's a lot of relatable stuff we can share with each other. They help me a lot, like for example my roommates, they help me a lot, like whenever I'm feeling depressed or anything, they would usually ask me, come on, let's go hang out, let's do this, let's do that, let's go have some drinks. Everyone here is so sociable, they know how to have fun. They're so easy to hang out with and to communicate with, so it wasn't so difficult.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that because a lot of the students sometimes they share that they're more of an introverts and they're afraid to go abroad and they're maybe shy. But it's good to know that even though we like introverts, even for introverts, it can still be easy to make friends. Um, and Drama, you said that you went there for one semester, but was it easy to make connections during that short time there in Germany?
Yes, it was definitely easy. People are really, really friendly out there. And as it was mentioned before, people are already going there to make new connections, make new friends. Everyone is searching for a new friend or someone to be with. So it was quite easy. Whenever we were going to any touristic place, we'd plan it out all together so we can be with each other's company. So it was pretty fun, to be honest.
Yeah, that does sound fun. Thank you for sharing. And we did talk a lot about making friends and having fun, but also when students, when they go abroad, they also have to focus on studying. So, Emra, like, how did you deal with that balance when you went abroad, with like going out, but at the same time you have a lot of studying to do?
Honestly, there wasn't really a kind of a balance because we explored more the city than that we went to classes and studied actually. Because also, what we noticed was that the level of the education over here it was lower than in Europe. So that's why we could spend more time to exploring the city, and also over here the grades will like for example 20% of attendance, 20% of homework, 20% of a project, and so we could then calculate in our head, okay, if I attend this much of class and if I get this grade from this project, I will have this final grade, so I will pass the class. So we did calculate that in the beginning, and also the exams were putting online before even the exams were given. So, for example, on a Monday was the exam, but 4 days earlier, the professor put the exam online, so we could like see the exam before even making it. So, and we knew that also in advance because the professor told us so. So that's why we were more focusing on exploring Hong Kong than really studying, and it ended up well. So
Yeah, that's good. You ended up being lucky, and you got to experience more of the exploring the city rather than studying, which is good.
yeah.
And Yara, can you give tips to the students on what they can do when they feel like overwhelmed with like studying and exploring and being in a new place? How do they deal with those feelings?
Well, in my case, when I was so overwhelmed, I would usually plan out my study sessions, my stuff, my study plan. I would study plan. I would get a paper or anything, start writing, controlling my time of how to study, controlling when to hang out with people. And also, I noticed that, like, for the people here in Spain, education is really important for them. Like, when it's time of exams, they really focus on the education and on studying, and we usually have so much sessions together to study together. We would share notes together. We would have also sessions with the professors where we can ask them questions, they can help us. So basically it's literally controlling your time and managing your time good with balancing it with the fun part.
Awesome. Yeah. And as you mentioned, like planning out and having a clear idea of what you want to do during the day or during the week is a great way to do that too. So thank you for the advice. And Rama, can you share some tips from your own personal experience on what to do when you feel that anxiety because you have a lot of studying and you also want to go out? So how did you deal with that?
So basically, what helped me most was just to divide my time. So, say I have 12 hours, then 6 hours would be for studying, 6 hours would be for hanging out. Planning out my studies was the thing also that helped me out most. So, just plan ahead of time. Okay, I have an exam by Monday, I'll study before it one day so I can't go out. Just plan everything in your mind. That would make everything easier for you.
You're right. That's great. Thank you. And now we did talk a lot about the challenges and we gave to the students awesome tips. So thank you guys for that. Now we're going to go ahead and talk more about the destinations. So, Amra, how is the student life like in Hong Kong?
Well, there are a lot of international students from everywhere around the world. And also, there's also a lot of people living in Hong Kong who are actually originally from, North America, South America, Europe, Africa. So the city itself is super multicultural. And that's why it's also really easy to meet people from different cultures and different nationalities. And like I'll see in the picture, you can see um, you have like an area who's super Asian and super Chinese, and then the next block can be super European, and you can find like internet Italian restaurants or um, a different kind of restaurants from all around the world. And besides that, you also have a lot of hikes that you can do over here, and also a lot of beaches where you can hang out. Um, so you can also see over in this picture that there's a lot of water and also a lot of islands you can do as activities you can visit. So there's so much to do over here in Hong Kong as a student, and it doesn't have to cost much. You can also do it on a budget level. So it is, I think, in that sense, perfect for students.
I agree. This really, it looks perfect and it sounds really awesome. And great pictures as well. So as you can see, guys, these pictures are from Hong Kong. And now we're gonna go ahead and talk more about Spain. So when we talk about Spain, a lot of the students are more familiar with the major cities. But Yara, you said that you studied in Oviedo. So can you tell us more about Oviedo?
Well, Oviedo is basically located in the north of Spain. It's in an autonomous community of Asturias. It's in the north of Spain. It's what we call the paradise of Spain. Everything there is so beautiful. It's so green. It has a lot of beaches. It has a lot of attraction sites. The architecture is so beautiful. The students can it's easy for the students there because basically here it's small, so the transportation there is basically either by bicycles or by walking. It's very affordable. Whatever you want to do there for entertainment is as well affordable. And yeah, there's a lot of sites to explore and have fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks beautiful. That really looks very beautiful. Looks different than Madrid and those major cities, but that's really interesting to see and hear about it. So thank you for sharing. And Rama, you said that you studied in Berlin. Can you describe the student life there? Just is it like multicultural? Are there a lot of international students there?
Berlin is the capital city, so definitely it was full of international students and people who are not from Germany, like people from around the world, were actually lived in Berlin. It's a beautiful city, in my opinion. Its nature is awesome. Here, as we can see in the picture, is the Berlin Brandenburger Tour. It's full of Berlin's history, Germany's history. I mean, where it happened, the war was also in Berlin. You can see the wall there. There are many activities you can do. The nature is amazing. Everything's really perfect in Berlin.
That's great. It's really nice to see that historical side as well. So that really looks beautiful. And now talking more about if students want to study there, like how would they transport? So Emra, what is the most common way of transportation in Hong Kong?
Definitely MTR. In that sense, you can really see that it is an old British colony because the MTR is just amazing. It is super cheap, and also it goes everywhere in Hong Kong super fast. So MTR, I would say, is like the number one transportation here in Hong Kong. And besides that, the taxis and the Ubers are also really cheap. So if you go somewhere with more than 4 people, it can be even more affordable to have a taxi or book a Uber than going with the MTR. And if you go to the islands, you can also take the ferries, which goes every 15 or 20 minutes. And that is also like super affordable. So, but if I need to choose one, it would be definitely MTR.
Awesome, great. Thank you for sharing that. And there's a question from the students here from Afroj asking, is it safe for a girl to study abroad? So maybe either Yara or Rama, you can tell them from your own experiences as a girl going abroad for the first time. How did you feel? Was it safe for you?
Well, for me here in Oviedo, it's, as I said, it's a really small city. So people here are so familiar with each other. They all know each other. You might go outside and see like a lot of people talking with each other. It's a really safe environment. For me, I go walking all the time, even at night. We go out, girls alone. It's really safe. People are really protective, and it's for me, it's really safe here. Unlike other cities, for example, like Madrid, it's louder, it's bigger. You might find some difficulties, but here in Oviedo, for me, I haven't had any scary situation.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing your experience. Now I think, yeah. So Rama, what is the most common way for like of transportation in Germany?
Definitely, public transportation is the most popular way. There's the U-Bahn, the S-Bahn, the tram, the buses. There are many ways, and it covers everywhere in Germany. Specifically in Berlin, there was no. I didn't face any problem going from a place to another using the public transportation. Even from the airport to your whatever home you're staying at, it's really easy to reach your home. It's really easy to reach any place you want to go using the public transportation, and it's cheap too, so why not?
Yeah, that's really great. Thank you for sharing that. And now, as we're talking about like housing options and accommodations and costs and all of that, so Emra, can you share with the students where did you stay in Hong Kong when you were a student, and why did you choose that accommodation option?
Well, I stayed in the campus of the university, so they provided us rooms which we could, or with the locals or with another international students, we could choose from that. And well, it was mandatory to stay over. It wasn't mandatory to stay over there, but it was mandatory to pay for the whole semester. So that's why also we stayed at the campus, but also because it was so much cheaper than living campus because one the one amount of the whole semester was even cheaper than normally 1 month of rent somewhere else in Hong Kong, because the housing and accommodation are super expensive over here. So that's why I stayed at the campus. So, and first because it was mandatory to pay for the whole semester, and second because outside it would be so more expensive. And also, another reason that we stayed at the campus was because every international student stayed at the campus. So then it was much easier to having friends and to meet up and to discuss the classes, for example, homework or project, or and so that's why it was more affordable and more logical option to stay at the campus.
Yeah, I agree. That is true. It is that it could be more, like more affordable, and at the same time, it is easier for you to make connections with other students. So that is great. And what about you, Yara? Where did you, or where are you staying as a student?
Well, in my case, I'm renting an apartment with two other students, which is actually here in Oviedo compared to other cities in Spain is affordable, especially for students. Although I know that there are residents in campus residents for the university where people can go there. It might be a bit cheaper, but for me, I preferred the option of having to stay here in an apartment with two other students. It was easier for me, and it's really as well close to the university. It's like 10 minutes walk, and also close to the center. We usually walk all the time from university to the apartment to the center. So basically, they're really affordable. The in-campus residents are also so cheap and affordable for students, and they provide so many services like breakfast. I think they provide the breakfast for free there. So in general, yeah, it's really affordable. It's really cheap compared to other cities in Spain.
Awesome. That's really good to know. And so now we have the two options. We have Amra, who stayed in the university residence, and then Yara, who stayed outside of the university residence. But what about you, Rama? Where did you stay as a student in Germany?
I stayed outside of the university residence because there wasn't one. Honestly, if there was one, I would always choose it because it was to to avoid the hassle of searching for an apartment and so. But it was easy to find an apartment. It wasn't that hard at all. I rented an apartment with four of my friends. Each one had a separate room, and it was very close to the university. It was 10 minutes by the U-Bahn. Yeah, so it was really easy to find an apartment outside of the university's residence, and it was cheap as well.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's good to know that there are many options here. So, guys, I have a question for the students. Where would you stay if you were to go to study abroad soon? Where would you stay in the university residence or outside? Just share with us that in the comments because I'm curious to know more about you. So now the next question is for you, Amra. Can you give us an idea of the cost of living per month in Hong Kong, just like the cost of transportation, housing, food, groceries, anything else that you would like to talk about?
Like about the transportation, the transport itself was pretty cheap because I lived out of the city center, so it took me around 45 minutes, an hour to go to the city center, which cost me around 2 or 3 euros. But as a student, you also get 50% discount, so that makes it like 1 or 1 hour 50 for go to the city center. About accommodation, like I said, it was much cheaper than going outside of the campus. So it was around 700 or 750 euros for a whole semester. Well, if you would choose to live outside the campus, it will be like minimum 900 euros for each month. So that's a huge difference. And I think overall, the Hong Kong is an expensive city, especially the food. I mean, for pizza margherita, I think the cheapest option you can find over here will be around 16 or 17 euros. While in the Netherlands, for example, you can find it for 6 or 7. And also the grocery shopping is more expensive. So Hong Kong is an expensive city, but for me, I think around 1,000 euros each month was enough. But then I need to say, drinking alcohol makes a lot of don't drink alcohol. So then I was much for me it was much cheaper to live in Hong Kong than my other friends who drinks alcohol, and which makes it more expensive. But for me, I think around 1,000 euros was enough for food, transportation, and activities and entertainment in Hong Kong.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you for sharing. And like you said, even though it is an expensive city, you can always find other ways to save more money and find ways to stay on a budget. And Yara, what about you? Can you give us an idea of the cost of living for a student in Oviedo?
Well, here, as I said before, for example, you don't really have to care so much about transportation because you basically walked everywhere and you can use the bicycle. And in case you, for example, would need the bus or anything, it's also cheap and affordable, and they have many offers for the students. So transportation there is not a thing you should worry about so much. Other than that, for example, food, there is also a lot of offers. They have a lot of offers, especially in fast food restaurants and even normal restaurants. In case you want to hang out in a restaurant to just have fun, have lunch. They here in Spain they usually have what they call a menu of the day. They have a principal plate, the first plate, a second plate, and then dessert, and then with the drinks. And I think they might give you bread as well. All of that is, for example, maybe for 10, 11 euros, depending on the place you're going to eat in. And other than that, in my case, for example, with my roommates, we usually search for grocery stores that have cheaper products whenever we need something. So basically, yeah, here it's really affordable. It's really cheap. There's a lot of offers, services for students. It's really helpful here.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. And what about you, Rama? Can you share a little bit of the cost of living in Germany?
Sure. So I think the housing was the most expensive aspect of all. I think in Germany it ranges from 300 euros to 500 euros per month for each person in a house. So this was the most expensive part of living in Germany. Rather than this, everything else is really affordable. Like for example, public transportation, the monthly ticket is only for 60 euros. I mean, 58 euros. So it was really cheap. I mean, it's very good. Groceries are, you have really a lot of options, a lot of cheap options, and eating in a restaurant wouldn't cost you a lot. Like 10 euros would be enough to eat in a restaurant, for example. And you can even travel. I traveled to Milan in Italy with by a plane. It was only 7 euros, so you can really travel with a really cheap budget.
That sounds really great. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And a lot of the students are also answering the question about where would they stay. A lot of them are saying they would stay in the university because it's safer, but also some people prefer to stay outside. So yeah, it all goes back to personal preference, I think. And yeah, so we did see really awesome pictures of Hong Kong, Emra, but what would you say are the most famous attractions or places that students must visit when they are there?
That's a good one. Um, it's also what kind of a person you are, because Hong Kong offers and the city and also a lot of nature. So if you're more a city, then I would say definitely visit Victoria Peak. Definitely visit the Avenue of Stars, where you can see the skyline of Hong Kong. You can go into the Hong Kong Rail, and you can visit the mid levels, which is like the Soho of Hong Kong. We have a lot of small bars and boutiques and restaurants. But if you're more a nature person, you can go for several hikes. You have a lot of hikes over here. And you can also go to the beaches. For example, you have on the east part of Hong Kong is a huge part which is called Sai Kung, and that's more the nature part of Hong Kong, and it's not allowed from the government to build residents over there. So there's a protected area. So you can go there. You can find a lot of nature and a lot of beaches. So, for example, you can go in the morning having a hike at the Sharp Peak, and then going down and go to the beach. And besides that, you also have a lot of islands we can visit, like Cheng Chao or Lama Island or Lantau Island. And definitely also, I think everyone who comes to Hong Kong visit the Big Buddha, which is also, yeah, it's a big statue of Buddha, and it also shows the culture of Hong Kong when you are there.
Sounds really fun. Thank you so much for sharing that with the students. And I hope you guys were taking notes so that if you ever go to Hong Kong, you would visit these places because that sounds really awesome. So thank you. And another question, as we were talking about the cost of living and staying on budget, do you guys have any tips for the students on how to stay on a budget abroad? Maybe Yara, you can share with the students.
As I said before, to stay on a budget, well, uh, planning your budget, planning on what you want to use this money. For example, choosing, as I said, like the grocery shopping, for example, usually go to a cheaper place to buy cheaper stuff from there. If you're living with other people, for example, in my case, you can try and plan with them how to divide buying stuff and the divide all of the money plans and everything. And I think, like, basically, yeah, that's it. It's affordable here. The transportation is affordable, entertainment is affordable. You just have to control it very well and find the best places, the cheap places there, and that's it basically.
Yeah, awesome. And you said that it's more affordable than other cities. So what are other differences between Madrid and Oviedo other than it might be more affordable?
Other than the price, well, Madrid is a huge city. It's really loud. It's harder there to live because it's harder to find, for example, apartments, places to live. It's pretty loud compared to here, where it's calmer. It might be safer here for some people. As I said before, it's really familiar. And basically, the most important difference between them is the price. Madrid is very known to be really expensive, especially for students, and that's basically it.
Great, thank you so much for sharing. And Rama, do you have any places that you visited in Germany and then you have to tell the students about it because it was just so beautiful?
Yeah, I definitely recommend people to go to the Berlin Brandenburger tour. It's really beautiful. And just walk a little bit until you reach Tiergarten. And when you're there, go to a Cafe am Neuen and just watch the beautiful nature of Berlin. It's really, really beautiful out there. Also, one of the experiences I loved most was when I was in the Spy Museum. It's a really interesting experience. I would love everyone to try it out. And when you're in Berlin, you have to try out Benedict. It's a breakfast place and it stays until 7 p.m. It's only for breakfast. So it's really, really fun when you're there. Their pancakes are awesome.
Great. Thank you so much for giving those suggestions. And thank you guys for also talking about those cities because now the next topic will be more about the education and the universities there. So Emra, what is the learning style like there at your university?
Like I said, it is more like, for example, 20% of attendees, 20% of a presentation, and then it goes to a final grade. But overall, it is more theoretical and with exams and with presentations. So, for example, what we had for the history class was around, I think, 10 or 15% was attendees. And then we had a presentation, it was 20%. And then we had a project, which was 30%. And the remaining percent were the exams. So they all of those grades, and then we will have a final grade, which goes from E, B, C, D, E, and F. So that was mainly how the program over here was, but which was also a difference between Europe and Hong Kong during the presentation. What I learned in my universities was to put keynotes of keywords in their PowerPoint. But over here, they put full sentences and they write everything in the PowerPoint. So that was a difference that I was not really used to. But overall, there's mainly like, yeah, you have all percentages for, yeah, like I said, like attendees and etc. And then it becomes a final grade.
Yeah, thank you for giving us that summary. It's a really good idea of how the learning style is there. So thank you for that. And what about you, Yara? You mentioned that you are studying the physiotherapy program. So can you explain to the students a little bit about the learning style there?
Yeah, well, it's basically 4 years, and then each year we have 2 semesters. And each semester you can plan out your subjects according to credits and hours. And then, for example, every subject is as well, like they have different percentage. Like for the exam you have a specific percentage, let's say 60%, other 20 for practicals, other 10 for presenting a project or a work. And then basically yeah, we focus a lot on the practical part of these subjects, because as a physiotherapist, that's what we want to focus about. And slowly, as like you start the second year, the third year, the university start providing us with the help and with the opportunities to start practicing the physiotherapy techniques in different hospitals. We usually start with public hospitals, and then slowly go to private clinics to practice. And then there, in each hospital or private clinic, wherever you are, you have your own tutor who can help you, who can guide you, who can teach you ways. And that's basically it. And about the grading system, for example, here in Spain, gradings is from 1 to 10, getting depending on the subject, but usually you succeed by getting a 5. Getting a 5, you don't have to repeat the exam. And each exam you have about 2 opportunities to do the exam. If you get above a 5 or above, you basically succeed. And basically that's it.
That's really interesting. And it's really good to know that they give you these practical aspects so that you can get a better idea of how this field works, and that you can get the work experience that you need. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And Rama, what about you? What did you see that was different in the learning style when you were in Egypt and then when you went to Germany? Anything unique that you noticed in the way they teach?
I think the most different part was where I actually had to apply a lot of what we are learning. All the time we had to apply things by doing a project or being in a lab to actually test out the techniques we took, the different techniques we took in the course. So this was the thing that I found out most different. Also in Germany, the GPA works differently. So it's from 0. 0.7 to 5. 0. 0.7 is where it's A plus, not the opposite. Like here, it's when we're the more the less, the worse. Like this means you're failing, but there it's 0. 0.7. You're very good. So this was a surprise to me when I was there.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's really nice to know like the differences in the grading system and all of that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that with the students. And a lot of the students are also saying that it's informative. And guys, also I want to keep reminding you that if you have any questions or you're curious about anything about studying abroad, you can share with us in the comments, and Amra, Yara, and Drama will try their best to help you by giving you their answers. And now, as you studied abroad in universities, a lot of the students also wonder if they will get that support or help from the universities. So, Emra, what were some of the student services at your university that assisted you?
So mainly the visa arranged at the university. So I need to send some information about a copy of my passport, and then I gave it to my home university, which then sent it to the partner university here in Hong Kong, and they arranged everything actually. So also the visa and stuff, and then they sent it back to Europe, to the Netherlands. But the most important part of this is that on time. Otherwise, you will have you will have time issue. And there was also students who didn't do on time, and they didn't get their visa on time. So then it will help you a lot of trouble. But the most difficult part was to enter Hong Kong. Visa wasn't sufficient. You needed a PCR test, you needed a vaccination record, you needed some letter from the university, you needed the visa itself, and you needed some hotel for the quarantine, etc., etc. So it was like a whole lot of documents that you needed. So the most difficult part was to enter Hong Kong and have all of those documents ready. Because if you missed one document, you were not allowed to enter Hong Kong. But yeah, I mean, about application and the visa and all the documents, both other universities helped a lot.
That's interesting. And someone is asking about the requirements to get into the university in Hong Kong. If you just can give them like a general idea of the documents that you submitted.
So the document that I submitted for the university was only classes which I wanted and some personal information and and some declaration from my home university that I was allowed to study at the father university. So that was mainly the thing that I needed to submit. But for the to enter Hong Kong, you needed vaccination records, and also you need um, like a PCR test before our traveling. You need some hotel quarantine proof that you have booked a hotel. Um, and I'm sure that I forgot a few, but there was a lot of requirements that I needed to have to enter Hong Kong. But to study, it was mainly the personal information and the declaration from the university that I was allowed to study there. But the communication between the university, I didn't have had a direct communication with the partner university. It was mainly between my home university and the partner university.
Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting to know, and that's also helpful. Uh, so thank you for answering that. So guys, if you have any more questions, keep asking them in the comments. And Yara, can you also tell the students more about your experience when you were applying for university abroad?
Well, and for me, I basically applied for the university. My application was online. They have their website. You usually enter the website. They help you. The administration is always available. You can email them for any questions. You can call. Um, the application is online. You do it, and then when I came here to Spain, the any questions I had, I would go to. I went to the administration to make sure all my papers were correct. My schedule was correct. All the subjects I took and the hours were done correctly. And there they were very helpful. They were with me in every step. They were very supportive with me in every step, helped me with every step until I got all my papers and everything correctly scheduled, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad to hear that you had a good experience with that. Now, as an advice to give to the students who are really very serious and really want to study abroad, Rama, what would you tell them, to those students who feel nervous but they still want to go abroad?
Okay, I tell them just enjoy it. It's a really, really fun experience. And whenever you feel nervous about it, just remember that it's just a temporary phase of your life. It may not be a permanent one, and it may be the best phase of your life. So try to enjoy it as much as possible. Try to talk to people at your home country to feel like you were them. Try to make activities that you won't do at your home country. Try to explore the city you're living in. Try to get to know new people, hang out with the locals. Basically, just try new experiences. It's a really, really fun experience, and you would really enjoy it when you go there.
That's great. Yeah, and there's actually a question for you, Rama, asking if it is easy to cope with the different cultures there, like the new lifestyle in Germany. Like, was it easy for you?
It was definitely easy for me. I didn't really, I wasn't really surprised when I went there. Maybe I was surprised a little bit because here in Egypt we stay at night a lot. Like we may return home at 12, 1 a.m. There, 7 p.m. everything closed. When I was there the first time, I was a little bit shook, but then I adapted to the differences quickly, and it's not that hard. Just learn to adapt to the differences one by one rather than taking all the differences and trying to adapt to them all at once. One by one would help you out. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that was a great advice. Thank you so much, Rama. And Yara, how would you say you changed after studying abroad as a person?
Well, as a person, actually, I matured a lot. I grew a lot, and I gained so much independence. I'm able to do stuff at my own. I'm more independent, more better at other stuff, and I have grown so much. I have learned so much here with the experience with the different students, about the culture, about the language, about everything. I basically became more independent and outgrew myself, became more open-minded, and all that.
Yeah, those are great qualities, and I'm glad that happened to you. So thank you for sharing. And Emra, would you like to also give the students advice about why they should study abroad and how to integrate easier into the culture?
Um, Also, like Yara said, it becomes more he becomes more open to the world, and like you also see actually how small the world is, and it's actually smaller than you think. And it's a good opportunity also to develop yourself in different ways. I mean, for example, I developed my English a lot while I was studying abroad, so that's one part. Another part, you become more independent, and you become more social, and you meet so many people from all around the world. For example, if I then now go back to the Netherlands and I decided to go somewhere to have a to for vacation, there will be someone who I can call and say, "Hey, I'm going to your country. Do you have time for a drink, or can we meet up?" Also, like I said, you just meet so many new people from so many countries, from so many cultures. So you can also then see, okay, there are differences. And for example, I knew in advance that, for example, Spanish people have late dinner. But when you meet them and when they really have late dinner, it's fun to see. So it just in many different ways, it will give you so many good input, and you will develop yourself in so many areas. So that's, yeah, I would say just don't even definitely consider to go abroad.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a really great perspective and a really awesome advice. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emra, Rama, and Yara for being here and for answering all those questions. I am sure that the students really benefited a lot. We got really great comments from them, and your answers were all great with really amazing advice. So thank you so much for being here at the Student World Talks today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Also,
Thank
having
you
thank
us.
so
you.
much. It was a pleasure.
It was a great experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Hope to see you here soon. Guys, thank you so much for being here today and watching this episode and engaging with us through the comments. I really hope that you got the information that you needed today. And also, don't forget to watch us next Tuesday for other episodes and more information about studying abroad. I want to also remind you guys to follow us and check out our page on Instagram, The Student World, so you can get all the updates and information about universities, studying abroad, and destinations. Thank you so much once again for being here, and I hope to see you soon again on the Student World Talks. Goodbye, guys.